Here at the Global Festival of Knowledge, World Knowledge Forum. I am Lyetok of Super Junior. I am here on behalf of K-pop artists, and I am here joined by Her Royal Highness Princess Haifa Al Saud of Saudi Arabia. Pleased to meet you, Your Royal Highness.
Meet you too. Thank you to the World Knowledge Forum for inviting me here today. I'm super excited to be here in Seoul in South Korea, and as they say in Korean, 안녕하세요, and in Arabic, أهلا وسهلا.
자, 이번 세션
For this session, we will be discussing the journey of cultural exchanges between Korea and Saudi Arabia. Your Royal Highness, you're in charge of the tourism strategies of Saudi Arabia, to the best of my knowledge, and we will be discussing the cultural exchanges between our two nations. I very much look forward to our talk. So let's take this opportunity to greet the audience. Your Royal Highness, would you like to greet the audience first?
Yes, absolutely. I, again, very pleased to be here with all of you today. Both our cultures go back, way back in thousands of centuries. And actually this year we are celebrating 60 years of strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and South Korea. So this is the best time to be here.
Your Royal Highness, I understand that you love K-pop. And so, although we met for the first time today, I feel like we are old acquaintances, maybe because of your love for K-pop. And so, could you share with us when you first listened to K-pop?
So actually, K-pop was first brought to my attention from my 11-year-old daughter, who actually knew in 2019 that Super Junior were in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah. And she was super excited, and she started introducing me to this new culture and all of the amazing bands. And I was surprised by how much she knew and she learned. And she actually taught me this, which is a sign of love. And it just opened my eyes to this world of K-pop. But what people really don't know is that Saudi Arabia is one of the top 20 markets for K-pop. In fact, today I am accompanied by a young Saudi female who's 26 years old. Her name is Tia, and she was inspired by your culture through your music, and she learned Korean, and she's fluent in Korean, and she's actually been living here for the past year and a half. So I would say now she is a citizen of both nations.
Well, actually, in 2019, Saudi Arabia felt like it was a faraway nation. It was an unfamiliar country to me. When I arrived in Saudi Arabia for the first time, when I experienced Jeddah, I could see that it's a beautiful city and a beautiful country. Everybody was so kind. I can hear everyone being so friendly. And that experience actually made me feel much more closer to Saudi Arabia. Well, Your Royal Highness, could you discuss what your thoughts are about for the future development? May I ask you a question about this?
Yes, please. So when we talk about Saudi Arabia, and I think this is very important, people think about two main things: desert and oil. And some people, camels as well. Very few people know that what makes Saudi Arabia really, first and foremost, are the Saudi people, which you saw for yourself. But just to give people an example, hospitality is built within our DNA. So today when you go to Saudi Arabia, if you go to a coffee shop, for example, and you ask for a coffee with coconut milk, let's say, the barista who's Saudi will sit and smile and say, yes, with pleasure. They'll make your order, and what you'll see is he'll run out because he doesn't have coconut milk, but instead of turning you back, he'll run out and he'll go and he'll buy coconut milk, or he'll borrow some from his neighbor, a coffee shop, and just give it to you to not turn you away. And that is, I think, the true Saudi hospitality. Just to bring it back, what also people don't know is that the Saudi people, it's a youthful population. We're talking about 70% of our nation are below the age of 30. And that's a very, very young population. We're led by a very young crown prince as well. And we have big ambitions. Our people are very worldly. They're very connected. Thousands of Saudis, for example, are very familiar with your culture through the beautiful movement that you have done, which is Hallyu, which is the Korean wave. Wow. They've learned about your culture, they speak the language, they've traveled here. We're very worldly. Our youth is worldly, they're engaged, they're connected, and they're very ambitious. And we are a nation that's not afraid to support that ambition and invest in our people, whether it be by training or by supporting very creative ideas like The Line, which was the new city that was announced in Saudi Arabia.
Well, in fact, Saudi Arabia may have seemed unfamiliar, but when I arrived there, all the fans were so gracious to us and they supported us. So Zeta actually is no longer an unfamiliar place for me. And you said that it's a young country, and I could feel that youth and also the passion among the people. And I think that that really helped us feel the energy and be more energetic. We've been touring around the world, but Saudi Arabia is one of the most memorable places that we've visited. So the youth and the passion of Saudi Arabia is something that I look forward to see more of.
I really appreciate that, and we have a lot to share with the world, and we're happy to be the world's partner in whatever it be, whether it's in investment, whether it's in sharing our culture or who we are as people. But you know what I think is interesting is your career path and how you've made it, and really, it's so astonishing to see. So will you allow me to ask you a question on your career path and how you are still one of the most iconic symbols of K-pop?
Well, I think that what's most important is to continue to take on challenges, and you should knock on the door until the door opens. When we first started to perform, well, our initial goal was to be beloved here in Korea. But then we extended our goal to Asia, Europe, Latin America, and even to Saudi Arabia. We've received so much love. And I would like to say that never give up. You should never give up and take on new challenges, and then you would be able to accomplish so much. So, Your Royal Highness, well, you've made so much efforts to make our relationship, Korea and Saudi Arabia, so much closer. And I think that in 10 years and 20 years, I do believe that you will contribute more for the greater relationship in those years.
Really, again, your journey is beautiful for me to see, because we feel your ambition, we feel your drive, and I was looking at some of the posts on Twitter and comments about this session, and people were commenting to you that they're so proud of you, and now I understand why after having met you. So I'm very happy to be here on stage with you, because I understand that drive and that motivation, and you're absolutely right how it can bring us together eventually. I see it in the transformation we're undergoing in our country. We're going through a major transformation that's made by the youth for the youth. I myself started in the private sector, in banking, at a time where it was the financial crisis, so it wasn't easy. So I understand challenges. I also was one of the first females to start in the banking sector in Saudi Arabia a while ago, and the transition also from private sector to public sector, where my passion lies through driving impact for our young people, is something that you do as well in your way. And this is something where I feel like we can meet under a common theme, like the theme of this forum that we're in today, which is prosperity and our shared values. of friendship, our shared values of freedom. This is definitely something that we can connect on and meet as people of the world.
저는 오늘 이렇게
Yes, today I've met Your Royal Highness, and when we think of Saudi Arabia, well, we might have in the past had some tendencies, these thoughts, but I think that we were able to overcome the previous thoughts or ideas that we had with Saudi Arabia. And I do believe that cultural exchanges between Korea and Saudi Arabia will be continuously promoted.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like we're just at the beginning. We're going to see, as you mentioned, a lot more. I expect in my next visit to South Korea, I'm going to see much more Saudis speaking Korean, but I also hope to see much more Koreans speaking Arabic, as I met with your team today, which was very impressive to see.
맞습니다. 사실
Yes, that is true. And Koreans, whenever we want to go on travel, and also when the global fans of K-pop, they want to travel, well, there are places that they would like to visit, but at the same time, because K-pop artists had performed in Saudi Arabia, for example, or they're performing somewhere, these fans, they want to join the artists and go to those venues. And they also want to go to the places where the K-pop artists had visited in the past. So not only the performances of the K-pop artists, but also the restaurants that they visited and the venues can become tourist attractions. So the next time we perform in Saudi Arabia and the next time that we eat there, I think that we should learn more about the culture. And when we do, then more K-pop fans will gather in Saudi Arabia.
I absolutely agree with you. And in fact, this is how we're looking at it in a tourism perspective. So when we have people with huge fan bases as yourself, we are starting to create packages of the trails of those individuals for people to learn more about who we are. But definitely on your next trip, I'm more than happy to join you and to take you to the really cultural places, to take you to the gold market, for example, to take you to Ad-Dir'iyah, which is the birthplace of the Saudi royal family, and it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's one of 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Saudi Arabia. But definitely, I agree with you that there's a lot of cultural exchange that can take place. And this is what brings people together, because we like to say that tourists are agents of good. So they are ambassadors. When they go without prejudice and without bias. And as the Korean culture and pop culture specifically taught us, that soft power can be a superpower.
네.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for those wonderful remarks. And when we have the opportunity, I would really like to go. And also, if you ask me to become a friendship ambassador to promote Saudi Arabia, I would like to accept. So next time, if you come to Korea for leisure and travel, then I would like to be your personal guide to take you to the wonderful places here in Korea and take photos with you.
I really appreciate that. And I shall be your tour guide in Saudi Arabia as well.
네. 내년 1월
Yes, so in January of next year, we have a tour planned in Saudi Arabia. The next time we visit, I do hope that we can join together so that we can enjoy the great attraction, the great food of Saudi Arabia.
You promised me to dedicate a few days for leisure and to enjoy.
Thank you.
If so, I will happily take you to the best restaurants.
근데 그때 갔을
The next time I visit, it's not just me, but all of our members. And also the many different artists of SM Entertainment will be coming along together. So will you be able to buy a lunch or dinner for all of us? There's a lot of us.
For our hospitality, and that extends to... We'll actually cook the meals, don't worry.
감사합니다.
Thank you. Then I think I can take about 50 artists with me to visit Your Royal Highness's residence.
This is how deals are made on panels. Tourism 101.
자, 오늘
Yes. So today we were given a short period of time, but nevertheless we were able to talk about how the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Korea became closer. Do you have any closing remarks?
Honestly, I just wanted to thank you, but actually there is something that I want to present you with, and it's something that showcases our culture, speaking of culture. So rarely do people know that actually Saudi men wear flowers on their head, the men of the South. They wear flowers on their head for two reasons. For a reason of beauty, but also for a reason of good health. So the colors of the flower gives them good health and the kinds of herbs used. So I wish you happiness and good health.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
그리고
I love it.
네, 선물을 받았으니까
Yes, because I received a gift, it's my turn to offer an exchange gift. So this is the exchange.
Thank you very
감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
감사합니다.
شكرا. 감사합니다.
네.
Thank you.
자, 오늘 정말 짧은 시간이긴 했지만
We did have a very short amount of time allocated to us, but indeed I feel much closer to Saudi Arabia. Her Royal Highness, thank you, has joined us all the way here in Korea. Thank you very much for joining us here. I hope you have a wonderful stay in Korea, and I look forward to meeting you in Saudi Arabia. I wish you the best of health and good luck, and it was a great opportunity for me to join you on stage today.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for hosting me in your beautiful country, and I look forward to being back here again, as well as hosting you in my country. Thank you all.
Thank you. 자, 오늘 이 시간 함께 해주신
Thank you very much to our audience as well for joining us today. Thank you. I am Ituk of Super Junior. Thank you very much.